Title: The Legend of Shohei Ohtani, the storm that baseball never saw coming. The stadium lights flicker, the crowd holds its breath, and in that electric silence, something feels different. You can almost taste it in the air. This isn't just another night of baseball. This is destiny writing itself in real time. Because somewhere on that diamond, under the heavy glow of those lights, stands a man who refuses to be ordinary. His name is Shohei Ohtani. And tonight, the world is watching him rewrite what it means to be human. They said no one could do it again. Not since Babe Ruth. Not in this era of specialization, of analytics, of limits. But limits have never been Ohtani's language. He speaks in power, in precision, in the poetry of impossible dreams turned real. The story begins not with victory, but with doubt. Japan's young prodigy, standing on a mound half a world away, told his coaches he wanted to pitch and hit in the same game. They laughed. They warned him. They said, pick one. He smiled, nodded, and quietly promised himself he would pick both. Fast forward years later, Los Angeles. The crowd chants his name in two syllables that sound like thunder, Shohei. Shohei, as if the whole world finally understands what Japan knew all along. Every swing from Ohtani's bat is an earthquake. Every pitch a lightning bolt. He doesn't just play baseball, he bends it, reshapes it, redefines it. One night, he's throwing 101 miles per hour fastballs that slice the air like a samurai's blade. The next, he's sending baseballs screaming into the night sky, disappearing beyond outfield walls as if they were never meant to stay on Earth. And now, the award storm has begun again. Reporters call it the Ohtani era. Fans call it madness. Opponents call it unfair. But what it really is, what it truly means, is something far deeper. It's the story of a man who turned what if into what now. This season, the accolades started pouring in, each one like another crown on a king who never asked to rule. The home run titles. The MVP whispers that have now become shouts. The comparisons to Kyle Schwarber fade in the background, because while Schwarber's bat may thunder, Ohtani brings an entire orchestra. It's not just about numbers anymore. It's about aura. It's about presence. When Ohtani steps onto that field, something changes. The camera lenses tighten. The chatter stops. Even the air seems to shift. You can feel it, the collective awe of thousands of people realizing they are witnessing something that might never happen again. And then came the fourth major award of his career. More than any Japanese player before him. More than even Ichiro, the icon who once carried Japan's hopes across the Pacific and painted masterpieces with his bat. Ichiro was art. Ohtani is revolution. But what makes him even more terrifying is that he's not satisfied. Not yet. Because for Ohtani, greatness isn't a finish line, it's a habit. 3 years in a row, he's been crowned a 5-time champion in various categories. MVPs, Silver Sluggers, pitcher honors, offensive records. It's not just dominance, it's balance. Imagine being the best hitter and one of the best pitchers in the same universe. Not in some video game. Not in fantasy. In reality. Imagine what kind of mindset that takes. To train for two opposite worlds. To wake up one day sore from throwing 110 pitches, and still have the fire to step into the batter's box and crush a 450-foot homer. That's Ohtani's madness. That's his genius. But every genius has a cost. Behind those radiant smiles and humble interviews, there are nights of pain, of exhaustion, of silent battles against a body pushed beyond what it was built for. There are doubts, whispered by the same voices that once told him, you can't. And yet, every time he's counted out, Ohtani rises again. Like a phoenix draped in red and white. This year, as his awards pile higher than ever, people wonder, has he peaked? Can he possibly keep this up? But that's where the twist comes in. Because Shohei Ohtani doesn't just aim to repeat greatness. He aims to expand it. You see, the awards don't define him. The spotlight doesn't drive him. What drives him is the love for the game itself, the same childlike wonder he had in Japan, hitting balls into the fading sunset, dreaming of the impossible. He still runs the bases with that same boyish grin. He still bows respectfully to the umpire before the game. He still signs balls for children who see him as something more than a player, as proof that dreams are worth chasing. That's what separates him. Ohtani is not just talent. He's purity. He reminds us why we fell in love with sports in the first place, not for the stats, but for the stories. Because behind every trophy, there's a heartbeat. Behind every headline, there's a journey. And Ohtani's journey has become the world's favorite story, a story of defiance, discipline, and destiny colliding. The kind of story that begins with a whisper and ends with a roar that echoes through generations. So when you watch him step up to the plate again, bat glinting under the floodlights, remember, you're not watching a baseball player. You're watching the living definition of possibility. He doesn't just swing for the fences. He swings for history. And maybe, just maybe, 100 years from now, when people talk about baseball's greatest legends, they won't just mention Babe Ruth, or Ichiro, or Mike Trout. They'll speak of the man who did it all. Who dared to dream two dreams, and made them both real. Shohei Ohtani. The storm. The silence. The story that will never fade. Because this isn't just his season. It's his era. And somewhere out there, a little kid in Japan is watching him right now, eyes wide, heart racing, believing that if Ohtani can do the impossible, maybe they can too. The cycle continues. The legend grows. And baseball. Baseball will never be the same again.